Pretty sure it's that one. Well then, I think we're back up.
Here we go. You can watch me. I'm scared.
As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and tune into their Twitch at 8:30 Central Time so you never miss a stream. And if you do miss a stream, check out the new Posse Sports Network YouTube channel, which has all your PPW and Posse basketball needs. Now, we at Shady News have been gone for a while, but so has PPW. And to celebrate the return of Posse Pro Wrestling, both Warzone and Blitz launched a Grand Prix in which the winners of each block fought for a title match of their choosing in this PosseSlam 21 June in the Jungle. Nate Tubis, for example, came in last place over in Blitz and was given the brand new Blitz Hardcore Championship belt. And though he made history by becoming the Hardcore belt's first wielder, Nate felt he needed to get ahead of the allegations that he wasn't championship material via an open call to anyone thinking they were fighting the Tubis of seasons past. But who could have ever expected WWE legend Devon Dudley to answer that call with a promise of his signature violence? And while Nate had the opportunity to show the world Blitz was no longer a safe space for WWE imports, the match seemed to prove his naysayers correct, as Devon Dudley instead made a strong debut. Hopefully a title defense goes better for Nate Tubis. Speaking of unmet expectations, Jacob J had returned to Warzone after not being able to take home the Blitz World Championship, but with the help of Virgil Ventura, Jacob didn't come alone. The Pure Championship is Warzone's newest belt with its own set of rules for a title match. In a Pure Rules match, contestants must fight in a no disqualification, submissions only steel cage match, and when the belt is on the line, the winner must get their opponent to tap twice in a display of pure dominance. A reinvented Jacob J took pride in this format, but he was facing a tall order defending his new belt against tag champion T-Hole, who had gotten 4th place in the Warzone Grand Prix. T-Hole's reputation as a brawler spoke loudly for itself, but though T-Hole was known for making his opponent hurt, he was not known for being a submission specialist, and this distinction was on display as T-Hole acquired 70% of the offense, but Jacob got the necessary submissions to retain his championship 2-1. Another new update in the world of Posse Pro Wrestling is that the Women in Them's division have all unified over in Blitz, meaning in later episodes be prepared to see the fiercest competition in wrestling take it up a notch. To start things off for this season, we got to see a Season 4 rivalry get settled as Rookie of the Year candidate and Guadalajara's own Denise Desperado went up against the established champion Rain. In Season 4, these two Amazons went back and forth in their matches, with a title on the line in some of those occasions, but Rain decided for this new status quo to mean something, the war with Denise Desperado had to come to an end here in a steel cage match. Denise, eager to end the war and find new competition, sought to escape the cage and shame Rain, but this proved to be the decisive difference between the rookie and the veteran, as Rain forced Denise to fight this match the traditional way, overwhelming Denise with offense and retaining her title to stay on top of a new and expanded roster. Well, I suppose this is the part where we address the elephant in the room. In Season 4, Warzone had been sold off to the Big Money Mafia, aka Benefactor Noah, Shady Millionaire, and K-Rich. In their efforts to make Warzone great again, they dismantled Cerberus, the premier faction of Warzone, with Delanye West and Steel Sean suspended and Jordan the Executioner sent to Blitz. Sadly, Shady News was also caught up in the downsizing and unbiased reporting was no longer needed as well. With harsher penalties on losing and ensuring the championship belt stayed in the hands of the benefactors, it seemed their vision would come to fruition. But through the return of Virgil Ventura and the resistance from those able to stay in the locker room, the Big Money Mafia were ousted from power and much of their impact was reversed. Now, to get into the finer details of this saga, we would need a whole other video.
100 likes and our sponsors won't have a choice.
matchups. But right now, we hope the abridged version manages to set the backdrop for some of these upcoming matches. Delonye West and Steel Sean joined the Mike is Right, a vital part of the Resistance, to form the Council, a faction dedicated to ensuring that titles would once again hold prestige in the hands of top wrestlers and top wrestlers only, starting with Steel Sean getting the Warzone World Championship and Mike returning to the Intercontinental Championship. All that was left was Delon and Mike going after the tag belts to create a faction of Triple Crown wrestlers to emphasize their mission statement. So when Mike won his block in the Warzone Grand Prix, it was no surprise he desired to go after the tag belts, much to fans' excitement. For the tag belts were held by the Tall Order, a team of Christopher and T-Hall, and it would certainly be a tall order to take those belts away from them. On top of that, fans had been waiting to see all-time singles great Delonye West go up against all-time tag competitor Christopher, and that's not to mention the closure of the beef between the Mike is Right and T-Hole, who shared a faction until jealousy and ego poisoned their bonds. And with tag matches now being elimination and the potential for knockouts being possible, the anticipation for these wrestlers to leave it all on the line went through the roof. We saw a certified brawl between titans of the locker room with unparalleled chemistry, but shockingly it was Chris, the anchor of many a tag team, that would be the first to fall to an elbow from Delonye West. And though T-Hole is a fine wrestler in his own right, against Mike and Delon capitalizing on top of the wounds he had sustained in the Pure Rules Championship match, he could only follow Chris in getting eliminated, cementing Mike and Delon's legacy as Triple Crown wrestlers and giving the Council 3 out of the now 4 belts of Warzone. At this point, who can stop the Council? But that wasn't all Mike had to do this PosseSlam. A Shady millionaire rebranded as Shady Banks and started up a talent agency to turn wrestlers into stars, his most successful recruit being the enigmatic Sackboy, hired to wrestle in Shady Banks' place. And indeed, Shady has a nose for talent, as Sackboy's rookie year led to winning his block and choosing to go up against the Mike is Right for the Intercontinental Championship. But alas, the rookie flew too close to the sun, for the experience and dominance of the Mike is Right spoke for itself as Mike manhandled the Sack for the majority of the match, once again proving to be a thorn in Shady's side. With 2 substantive wins and 1 PosseSlam, I think it's safe to say the Mike is in his prime. Sadly, no good deed goes unpunished for the Freak Bulls, for even though they were a vital part of resisting the Big Money Mafia, they weren't faring well in Warzone's tag scene. Believing the Freak Bulls of Cousin Scuba would be better off with their brethren in Blitz instead of languishing in the mid-card, Virgil Ventura exiled the duo at the tail end of Season 4. And apparently he was right, because Cuz immediately won his block of the Blitz Grand Prix and sought to finish the story with his partner, no, his brother, Uncle Scuba. Only problem is, the Samoan Hit Squad ain't nothing to play with, having the voracious T-Mula at point and the heavy-hitting Samoa Joe as backup. It could not be said these belts were easier to get than Warzone's. And so in a 2 out of 3 Falls Tornado tag match, we got to see the difference between 2 teams, as while the Samoans preferred to work independently with Samoa Joe doing most of the heavy lifting, one freak was sure to have the other's back, switching matchups when things got sticky and even taking blows in their partner's stead. The unshakable brotherhood between Scuba and Cuz proved to be unbeatable this day, as Cuz secured the first pin and Scuba followed not long after. With the freaks united under one banner and gold in their faction, where one story ends, it's easy to believe another exciting story is about to begin. Willing to wear his faction on his name, the Freak James came into Season 4 setting his sights for as much glory as he could get. But when Jordan the Executioner transferred to Blitz from Warzone, the chance to win the Blitz World Championship vanished as Jordan took it for himself. Thanks to winning his block of the Blitz Grand Prix, the Freak has one more chance to get the gold from Jordan, now branded as the Tyrant of Blitz. And while the Freak Bulls are entering a new era of prosperity, it could not hold a candle to the reign of Jordan, as he brought the signature viciousness he was known for with the aura of a champion to the lawless arena of Blitz, signifying to the world that nobody can withstand the Tyrant's iron fist. Speaking of exiled royalty, the Mad King Crazy Court found himself in Warzone after betraying the Kingsmen, but failing to get the belt for which he had burned so many bridges. Working his way through the best of Warzone and winning the Grand Prix, Court found his way into one more championship match with Steel Sean, the first council member to have attained gold. But Court had not run far enough from his sins, as Tay Nubis, Court's first tag partner and a victim of Court's desire for success at any cost, appeared as referee. Tay had won the title of #1 contender for a later date, and this match determined who Tay would compete against. And so it was that the man with the oldest vendetta of PPW oversaw the greatest high flyer go up against the strongest grounded wrestler in the roster. This was an important match for the Council, who aimed to not only win all the gold in Warzone, but to also retain it for as long as possible. But there was one slight problem. Cord, through the Grand Prix, had been forged in the fires of Season 5 competition, while Steel Sean had no prior matches this season, on top of its absence due to the Big Money Mafia. Now, some spectators felt that Nubis was a bit biased in his counting speed to ensure that his oldest foe would win the belt, only for it to be stripped by the man he once rejected, but Shady News sympathizes with how difficult refereeing is and believes Tay gave it a fair and honest effort. It just so happens next PosseSlam is going to be a grudge match for the ages. With all these wild outcomes, it's easy to understand why this PosseSlam was called June in the Jungle. But the chaos doesn't stop there. What does a Jordan the Tyrant reign look like? Who else can rise up and dethrone the Council? And like Denise Desperado and Sackboy, who are the other Season 4 and 5 rookies aiming to define their seasons on the grand stage? Find out all the answers to this and more during Warzone and Blitz, and after PosseSlam 22, tune back here for Shady News, where the truth is often shady.